Well, first we can do a quorum,
I don't
and
see
if we have a quorum, then we can do it if you want. So,
Is there a flag?
I think we got enough folks here, so I'll tell you what. Let's begin our Treasure Chest Committee meeting of May 11th, 2023 at 5 PM in the Griffin Room. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure we have a quorum, and indeed we do. And Ellie, you think we should do the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, I'm fine with that.
Like, where's the flag?
Yeah. Typically, it's right here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nice.
Is the camera on or?
Is here,
Yeah.
Thank you.
so I assume it is.
Okay.
Oh, he's there. He's
I think so, yes.
sitting behind the thingy.
Yeah, but no, saying where's Heather and everybody?
Heather's still not,
Is Heather gonna come to you?
no.
She's not gonna come, okay.
I haven't even, I've left her 2 messages in the last 2 days and she hasn't called me back. So I don't know.
I'll know that Heather had back surgery.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, really bad back surgery.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to our old business, and the first would be to accept the Treasure Chest Committee meeting minutes of March 9th, 2023, and I provided you each with a copy. They didn't print perfectly, but it is the way it is sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Can't see with her. I think my spears are in the car. Yeah, I left them in the car.
Changes or comments? Still reading?
Still reading.
Still reading, okay. Any changes, Rainey?
No, I thought they looked good. I certainly,
Mary?
no.
I never saw the new stickers.
Larry did.
I had it written down here that you saw them in my notes.
I was told that they were purchased.
So let me just change that then.
But they are the inside ones?
Yeah.
That's what he said, yeah.
Spent a little extra on us.
So why didn't I just scratch the first sentence
Yep.
on stickers? Easy enough.
Yeah.
Any other changes or comments this gentleman wants in? Just staring at us. Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Treasure Chest Committee meeting for March 9th, 2023 as amended?
Sure.
So that's a so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was she, one, and I'm gonna make it Ellie, second. Cool. Okay, we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which is a review of the Treasure Chest operational guidelines. And I know that Ellie wanted this on, so I printed everybody a copy of the change that you wanted to see.
Right, and I'm wondering if we can
Oh, that's the change.
look at the
Guidelines?
guidelines as they exist. I asked you to bring your copy. How many of you brought your copy?
I have my copy.
You do, you does.
We can share.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Mary, I can show you. I read them.
As they read right now, I don't see any need to change anything in the first paragraph. In the second paragraph, as it reads, the purpose of the treasure chest is to provide a place where usable items can be diverted from the waste system and made available to,
We don't have the,
and I'm wondering if we can make that word just others and scratch the word town residents.
don't have
That's fine with me.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
You see what that is, Eric?
So you want to scratch Harwich out?
No, the purpose of the treasure chest is to provide a place where usable items can be diverted from the town waste stream and made available to others, period. And then you don't need to.
So you don't want town
Town
residents?
residents, yeah.
That's a proposed, that's, yeah.
I think that's kind of a.
More
there's so
generic,
many
it's better,
others.
yes.
More- Yeah. And then the rest of those are good. The third paragraph is where I'm hoping to replace that paragraph with the wording I have here. So-
This wording?
Yes.
Okay. Which you do have this wording. I provided that.
So it will say, and it's basically to adjust the hours. The treasure chest is staffed by volunteers. It is open to Harwich residents on Saturday and Sunday. Hours are 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., April through December. Winter hours, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., January, February, March. Closures will be Christmas, New Year's Day, and Easter. And clement weather will necessitate closing.
Well, that's clear.
Similar to what we did this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the fly, but, you know, we kind of put it in place quickly, made up some signs.
What do you, I mean, all this has to go before the selectmen because they're the ones who have to vote it. We can only authorize recommended changes, but it has to be the selectmen who approve. So, anybody disagree with?
No?
I mean, I get it in the winter, sometimes it takes a little more time to get started up in
Oh,
nine.
it's cold out
Yeah,
there,
no, I get it.
And people weren't coming until later in the morning. And we're very seem to understand. So
Okay.
if we
Does
can-
anybody not agree with that proposed change? I mean, we'd have to, you know, put these before the selectmen, so I want to make sure that, you know, the committee is in agreement before, you know, we bring these before them. So, okay, everybody's,
And I think the only change was we only did it January, February this year. We didn't go into March. But I think of March as a winter month. I'm trying
March
to,
is freezing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Okay.
think of
That's
this.
when winter starts.
Right. I'm thinking of this as winter,
Yeah.
other seasons, simplicity. And I'll have to ask Link to make a change of signage
Yeah.
out there on the green sign
Yeah.
that would suit us for those 3 months. So, do we have to vote on that, Eric?
are there any other changes that you're proposing?
Yeah.
Then let's walk them through
Okay.
and then we can vote on them all.
all of them, so
Yep.
far, so good. The next paragraph, I don't see any change. It's items. And then we move into operational guidelines.
Mhm.
The first, item number 1, about problems arising. We want to keep it positive that if something goes wrong, the shift leader would be contacted. And I'm just putting out there for the possibility of, if things got bad, police action may be needed.
So do you have a proposed change in the language?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it would be that, after the word duty, period, police action may be needed. Police action if necessary, or just to know that if.
I'll tell,
We haven't seen the police since 2018, so.
Right,
There we go.
Right.
do you want them to have a presence?
No.
Not unless,
We
Do
needed
we
them
need a
when
presence?
everybody was allowed to come in. That was just Harwich. We
Yeah,
can't-
I was gonna say, it.
We don't need them.
No,
No.
okay, scratch that then.
Yeah.
We'll leave it
Let's
at-
leave one as is.
we all know that, and call 911 if you need it.
I mean, gotta remember, this is the selectmen's preferred language. So unless unless the committee really thinks that there's a necessity to change this language, I prefer to stick with the language that the selectmen have accepted.
Fine.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I clearly understand the third paragraph and that change, and perhaps the change in the second paragraph. Other changes to the operational guidelines proposed?
I'm okay with, as number 3, hits on the hours again, so,
Yeah,
would have to have.
I'll just put it needs to be the same as paragraph 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so is that okay with
yes.
everyone if we tie that in? It does spell out December 25th, January 1st, and Easter. And I don't know if maybe open other days or in special case basis. Do you guys ever know that we've opened it any other time? So the sentence at the end of that, number 3, the treasure chest may open on other days or on a special
We did that.
basis.
I think we did that because we
Friday,
opened up on
Saturday,
some days
Sunday,
before we
Monday.
opened up to
Yeah.
get it operational.
Right, oh, yeah. we
But I
were
don't
open
think
on-
we opened up on other days of the week. We're still a Saturday, Sunday operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to be 4.
It used to be 4 days.
I think you should exit. I don't think we should have that.
This one sentence.
Right.
Is that all right, guys, if we say that, if we don't say, the treasure chest may be open on other days or on special?
Get rid of it.
I'd be, okay, I'm fine
Okay,
with
yeah.
scratching it.
Okay. 4 is about emergency closures and communicating with DPW and the Scale House and the volunteers, how they will be contacted. And the last sentence in that one, no changes by the TCC. Does anyone know what that
I
means?
think that was
Just
probably
committee.
an artifact that we decided not to make any changes to that suggested language there.
Oh, okay. So it's just.
We could just scratch it.
Because we're trying to, the committee is trying to be on the same page with everything, not just that one, okay.
Or that might have meant that we couldn't unilaterally make that decision
Without,
without, reaching out.
yeah, we wouldn't do that, would we? I mean, the committee always acts as a whole,
We could just remove it.
okay. Number 5 is fine, the one that has to be approved. Number 6, I want to just change one word. As it reads now, all volunteers shall park on the right side access road opposite the fencing, except handicap. One of the volunteers asked me if she could be excluded from that because she had to buy 4 new tires in a very short amount of time, and
So
was
you could
what-
probably allow that to happen without actually having to change the guidelines to make it
You don't have
occur.
to, yeah.
Why can't you just grant that person that accommodation?
well, because
Without
other
changing-
people don't
Oh, you know?
comply. And I'm just thinking of changing the word shall to are encouraged to.
I always do, Cindy.
I park there.
There are people that always
I haven't
comply,
had to
and
change
there are
full
others
tires.
that never comply.
Do you want?
So it's,
I think it's fine to have encouraged to.
do you think it's changing the word from
So
shall?
someone who feels strongly about not parking there.
Yeah,
Isn't gonna be,
encouraged.
I'll let you, you know, that's fine. I mean, if you want to bring that before the selectmen and request that change, fine. I really don't think it's, you know, yeah, earth-shattering one way or the
no,
other.
it's not earth-shattering, but it's, it could be called to question, you know, the number of people that don't park on the side, on that side road.
Fine.
Are encouraged to instead of
Mhm.
shall.
Mhm.
And other than that, when we get to 11, with the discretion, if we could change the font on that, make it italics, or, this is like our most important item.
Right, but
Or
it's
just-
not supposed to
or
be,
underline.
it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be recognized, but it's not, you want to place additional emphasis on it by bolding it or italicizing,
Bolding
I'll
it.
bold it.
Bold
What
it,
is it,
yeah.
what does it say, please, I can't read it.
So
It
it's
says
a-
volunteers shall use discretion in taking a number of donated items and shall do so only at the end of the shift. The committee is responsible for dealing with issues when shift leaders bring them to their attention. So I will
Linda.
bold.
Yeah, that's extra.
Yeah, and there's extra right here, Lynn. And there's an extra seat right here.
In the interest of time, keep going. We've got a lot to do, and you've
Right.
got 20 more minutes,
Yeah.
so.
I think 11 myself is fine the way it's worded, unless you think there's something significant.
Well, I think it's worded fine. I think she just wants to bold it to put emphasis to it.
Yeah, fine, whatever,
Hold it.
whatever you think, sure.
Otherwise,
But
everything.
I think it suggests kind of conflict, is what I'm trying to say, putting an emphasis to it. And I don't know if there's a problem. I mean, we decided that when we opened up, that the volunteers could take items at the end of their shift. So I guess I'm confused why we need to emphasize it, unless it's a problem.
Yeah, I'm finding not the necessity to bold it and make it stick out. It's just one of the operational guidelines.
Yes, and to me, if we had a lot of concerns about it, then I think we need to address it and maybe word it differently. But if it's going relatively smoothly,
Relatively, yeah, we do have, we still.
You are never going to have 100%
Yeah.
compliance with anything.
Yeah.
You can certainly strive for it, but, you know,
that's just my
Okay,
opinion.
any other, leave it or change it?
I would leave it as is. Would you leave it as is, or would you emphasize it?
I would emphasize it.
No.
No, okay. And other than that, I mean, we talked, Jean, briefly about, do we need to change any of the items that we're taking?
Well, one of the ones that's on there, I think, was the Christmas trees. And if they're in a box and nice, and we have room, we could take them.
We sometimes take.
We typically take them seasonally.
Right.
In the past, you know, you'd wait till after, you know, Thanksgiving or whatever, but, you know, you weren't taking them in the summertime when people were trying to get rid of them, but nobody wanted them.
Right, but that's what I say, if we have a place to store them, then we can take them and have them for Christmas.
We might just, well, they're pretty hard to store.
Well, have you
But I
not,
mean, we used to take them seasonally, so maybe we just do that again and have some language about taking them seasonally.
Oh, yeah, but if you have them upstairs
have you
and
looked
they're in the
upstairs?
box.
We have a lot of room.
Yeah, I
We
know.
cleaned it.
Okay, I mean,
Can we say seasonally and/or in a box?
That works.
Or and/or in a box, and,
Yeah,
you know?
Yes,
That works.
yeah, because we're not gonna take them.
What I'm
put
saying, it
them in a
might be nice to
box.
have a little wiggle room if you get a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody brings a nice one, I don't wanna say,
So is that,
they're not gonna bring them.
after the word Christmas trees,
But
parentheses?
I will just scratch Christmas tree,
Okay,
if you want to take them.
Up to us, yeah.
yeah,
And if they become, but again, it's going to be one of those things that's subjective, you know. I can't tell you how many Christmas, oh yeah, everything's there. And then you find out from somebody they took it and they come back, oh, everything wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, the stand was broken, this was broken, the thing that holds the things was broken, something's always broken. It's just like, and then they want to bring it back and you're like, so now I've got to dispose of it.
Yeah.
So why did I take it?
Okay, and that's.
So
the
maybe
end
they
of-
demonstrate that, you
That's
know,
the
you
end
got a
of-
tree, they got those ones that like, you flip it upside down, it's up in
Magic trees, yeah.
three, yeah, you know, that's
They're like
great. But for some of these ones that are really old, you know what I mean? It's,
Maybe volunteers need to take a really good look at the ones we would accept.
Yeah.
but that runs into people being subjective and, well, what do you mean you don't like my tree? I love my tree. It's been a great tree.
Well, then keep it.
I know. I'm just saying.
Christmas
Thank you.
tree.
Okay, so that's the
We'll
end
scratch
of
it.
what I saw.
Okay.
Happy to submit it to the select people, or, Larry wasn't able to be with us tonight to let me know what, and from what I talked to Length about, he said anything that's operational.
Yeah. No, these are minor, and I think the changes you've proposed are fine. You know, we can work on this. I've written them here. You've written them. You know, we'll make sure we put it together, and then you can go before the selectmen and suggest the changes, knowing that the changes, so before that, we've all had a chance to hear the changes, proposed changes. I'll make a motion that we, recommend these suggested changes to the selectmen for the treasure chest operational planning guidelines. Can I have a second to that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
All right, sticker update. The red stickers are in effect till June 30th. New stickers are ready now, can be purchased online, but beginning June 12th, will be on sale at the community center. We will not be selling them at the gate, and they will not give me any new red ones to sell at the gate.
Oh, they won't, too bad.
No. So I
Well,
asked
It's
Link what.
almost June.
Yeah, I know.
Say that again?
Not a big deal. It's
Hey,
almost
Well,
June.
it is, though. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but I asked Link what I should do if people came in and said, oh, I planned to buy one today.
Right,
You know,
right.
and he said, be lenient, be.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say, if they've had a tag sale, they have a lot of items.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
So I,
Yeah.
Well, that's nice, be lenient.
last weekend, we did have several people that
Okay.
came that way. They showed proof of residence, and
That's
we
fine.
Good,
made people happy.
good.
So,
Good.
but, it's further evidence that we need somebody out at the gate to greet people and to tell them what the story is.
So June 12th, they'll go on sale at the Chamber of Commerce?
Can go on sale at the community center,
Community center.
Monday through Friday, I think.
And what about,
And the weekends, in fact, Mary was just asking me, they're going to, they've made it possible for them to be at the Chamber of Commerce for $3 extra.
That's crazy.
oh,
Okay.
wow.
So,
Doesn't seem right.
No, that doesn't seem fair.
well,
Wow.
she needs to pay her people that are working for her that weekend. I think there's some understanding that it's okay to do that.
Wow.
I wouldn't encourage it.
residents to get one?
That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
right.
All the usual.
So it's $5 a sticker at the community center,
Anywhere, yeah, anywhere.
but not at the Chamber of Commerce
And the Chamber
weekends.
of Commerce,
It's
$5
$8.
plus 3.
Yeah, wow.
Is it the Chamber of Commerce for people that are just coming for, for a week, like, not residents?
It's for anyone.
Chamber
Anyone
of
can go to
Commerce,
the Chamber
yeah.
of Commerce.
But you have to have residents
So residents or
to get the ticket.
Renters, you mean?
renters?
Yeah.
Can renters get a ticket?
No.
No, you
No.
have to be resident.
Yeah.
And then for the first time, I was at the front. Most of the people that came in showed me their sticker. They didn't have them on the window.
Mm-hmm.
We try to deal with that on a weekly basis.
Yep.
of,
We
Accepting
encourage
it.
them to put
And
it.
some of them don't like to put them on the outside, but we've solved that hopefully by having a new type
Yeah,
of
on the
sticker.
But if they do that, the sticker should match the plate number.
Right.
So I didn't check, because I was wondering if people were doing that because they had two cars, or, you know.
Well, a community sticker, you know, they share it amongst their
Yeah,
friends.
many
But I mean, it's supposed to have their license plate written on it, so, you know, if one doesn't match the other, then, you know.
So when I'm at the front, should I check?
Eyeball, yeah. But,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I look at the red sticker and they show it. I
Yeah.
didn't think of checking.
The license
The
plate.
license plate,
Yeah.
that's the way to
Make sure it
verify
matches.
it.
So I
And I
may
think-
have let in some scofflaws.
You may have.
Hey,
We
hey,
Still love you, Linda.
yeah,
But I did want to point out that when I took over a gate shift this weekend, there was already a car from, nobody had been on the gate before me. There was a car from Brewster already on site. A friend of his pulled in and said, my friend's over there. And I said, he said he was from Brewster, so I had to throw both of them out. And
Oh.
within 10 minutes, another Brewster person came in.
Is that weird?
You know, and a lot of them are just, I just want to see what's going on here, you know, but,
They just want to see if there's nobody at the gate, they're coming in.
yeah.
yep.
They're trying to take a chance.
So-
And only residents can drop off things as well as
Correct.
pick up things?
Yes, it's only for residents.
Okay, so 15 more
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
get-
we're gonna move on to new business. And the first item under new business was recognition of Selectman Ballantyne for his guidance and leadership as the Selectman's liaison to the Treasure Chest Committee.
How are we doing that?
Just say what-
And he's not here with us today, but I wish he was, because
I know.
really, without his leadership and guidance, I don't believe the Treasure Chest would be operational.
Yep, he was,
He's been so helpful.
Yeah.
Larry did a great job, was
Yeah.
so supportive of the treasure chest
Yeah.
and all of us.
And
He's really a great guy.
yeah.
And, you know, he has a mannerism about him, and, you know, it's comforting in a way, and he's optimistic, and things happen. And, you know, what a great individual and
so I'll see if I have a new.
a great
a new
contribution.
liaison as we carry forward. That'll be my question I'll need to find out.
Okay, I thought it was one of the women. I thought somebody said that, I don't know.
It hasn't, nothing's
Are there
been
two
told to.
women on the?
There are two
select
women,
committee?
yep.
I think it was the one that I interviewed with. I can't remember her name.
We'll see who we get. All right?
Mhm.
Celebrations. I have 3 that I want to mention. Bev is turning 90 on June 6th.
Yes,
Oh
yes,
my
we gotta do something
God.
for her.
We are open a whole year, which needs to be celebrated. And Liz's bench should be coming
Oh, good.
sometime soon. Link has had his eye, he thought it came in, called me, and realized it was a bench with someone else. So
Oh,
somehow around Bev's birthday, maybe do a little recognition of those
When
three
is it?
things.
When is Bev's birthday?
June
June
6th.
6th.
So,
Oh, that's definite.
are you all okay if we leave that as to be determined? But definitely.
Yeah, find an opportunity when we can, you know, meet right there at the Treasure Chest, and we used to do that in the past. And,
Okay.
you know, have a get-together and, yeah,
Yeah, she's-
Celebration
her
for-
family, she's not letting her family do anything, so,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
so let's do something.
Yeah, let's do something. You know, Bev's been here since the beginning,
Yep.
you know,
Wow.
One of our-
fortunately, we
And-
don't have any,
and open for a year already. It's amazing. And,
Well,
Is
you
it
know,
committed?
I think
you know what I mean?
Liz's bench will be very nice as well,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. He was gonna contact her
Yeah, we don't
son
have
to
some-
see
Some means of,
how far he's kept in the loop, so.
Okay, yeah, because I certainly would want him to be able to
return.
have an opportunity to, you know, be part of that celebration.
Of course, of course.
Excellent.
Okay, keys. I just want to take a quick inventory of who has keys, and the reason is, a couple of us have gone in to the site oft times and found doors open. So if people can just be mindful of that, but then I also feel like we have to have an idea of who
Who
has
has
keys.
everybody. I got 'em.
So,
Heather gave 'em to everybody. That's what she gave me.
Well, it would be good to know. If it's everybody, then if we have a list of volunteers, they can, do they have a key? Put a check mark. And, you know, some of the keys have actual, like I know when they were giving out keys and they had swapped the locks. I got key number 1.
I have
Eh,
key number 12.
And there was a succession of keys, and
All right.
they actually wrote down who had what key and what number it was.
Well, then maybe.
And so there were originals that had numbers, and I think from those
My
originals,
first original said do not duplicate.
Duplicate, that's what I
And then
had.
my second key I got, because something happened where we had new keys made.
This is the
And
one
then
that opens
you
up.
can duplicate them, that's why everybody has a key.
but, you know, it is good for Ellie to know, you know, who has, so.
Right.
Is there, let's
So-
put it this way, is there anybody here who doesn't have a key?
I don't have
These
these.
guys.
Okay,
Well, they
so
don't
you 3,
volunteer.
but the rest of us
So,
have one.
As I look at this list, I have one, Eric, you have one?
I have one.
Sheila has one? Heather has one?
Mhm.
Cindy has
Yep.
one? Rini and Eileen and Mary do not?
No.
They
Okay.
don't need one.
And onto the volunteers, Rose must have one, because she gets in there when she was coming.
Yeah,
come in
she
early.
had
Yep,
one.
Yeah.
Rose says.
Norma has one,
Mhm.
and other than that, I don't know if anyone else
Norma opens up.
has one.
Rose.
I don't even know if Beverly has one.
I was just gonna say,
No.
So I think that may be it, just the committee.
But I would go and ask the volunteers too, is there anybody else on this who I haven't identified who has a key?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you think you know the universe now, but let's see, there could be some stragglers out there.
Yeah.
There could be some duplicate keys, folks who have duplicate keys floating out
Oh,
there.
there were a lot made.
Were there really? Yeah.
There were.
And who, would you know of anyone that would have had access?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know all of a sudden everybody had keys.
Well, when I became chair, I got mine from Janet. She gave me hers, so,
That's where my original key, I gave my original key to Tom when he had
oh,
no key, and I said, well, take mine, you only beat me by 5 minutes, and I never got my key back, and I got that key.
So Tom might have had a key that he still has in
Tom has
in
one.
remembrance of us, you know,
He
so,
was there last week.
was it?
Yeah. Was
he?
Excellent,
Really?
Oh,
excellent.
I haven't seen him since
Yeah,
he
he was
left.
last week, yeah.
But yeah, it's good to have an inventory of who has keys and just make sure that, you know, it's accurate.
right,
So,
Okay.
awesome.
all right.
So let's see,
The harassment.
harassment of treasure
All right.
chest volunteers.
So what I did was I wrote down the incident, and it was the weekend of April 22nd, 23rd, the Saturday, April 22nd, afternoon shift. Volunteers reported that a customer had thrown items from his vehicle at the drop-off point. Items were big, and the volunteers felt threatened. That was one
Ice pick,
so far.
right at Susan's feet,
Wow.
through it.
The second was the following morning. The same customer was disruptive when volunteers rejected some of his items. I called the customer about the complaint and asked him to stay away from the TC if his behavior was going to be disruptive. He apologized. I suggested that he only come when I was on site, and he agreed. I called Link about the complaint and my proposed solution. He supports this type of plan. Further discussions about such cases helped by pointing out, discussion between Link and me, the need to include police or DPW if an intervention was called for, the need for witnesses to supply accounts and not he said, she said type of thing. And then banning a person from a town facility like that's not a given. There has to be a pretty thorough investigation about the incident. And as they move forward, speculation is never enough.
Well, it sounds like,
And then a committee vote on
He's
acceptance
getting
of the
more
plan.
aggressive, excuse me, and more violent. Sorry, I have allergies. Every time he comes, it's worse and worse.
yeah, and at some point, you know, you just have to say, enough's enough. You know, we're an
At that
adult,
point,
we're an
enough is
adult,
enough. He needs to be banned,
and
period.
really, because the volunteers can't be threatened. I mean, that is harassment.
Threatened. I mean, he doesn't bother me. There's certain people he doesn't bother, But that doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't.
He's bothering all these other people. Why is that okay?
And-
And now we
and-
make
and-
a special rule.
And why are we
just for
making
him?
special accommodation
That is
for
so
somebody
wrong.
who
That
is
is
being,
wrong.
yeah, I don't get that myself. You know, why are we rewarding bad behavior?
Right, it's not.
But that has not also been the person that we're talking about. There are others that also are very
Debbie Devaney, or
absolutely.
whatever her last
Yeah.
name is, has been just as horrible. I feel bad for Andreas, what he puts up with from her. And now that Sheila's back, she'll start getting her share.
Well, you know,
Right.
I've got to say, if people can't control themselves, if we have patrons who, you know, can't abide by the rules and can't be civil, then yeah, then we need to move forward and make sure.
The committee has to agree on a plan. Not-
Should there be some kind of sign? And, you know, it almost seems like it shouldn't be necessary, but some kind of sign saying that we expect everybody to, you know,
Well, we have
behave.
signs, yeah, we have signs all over the place, you know, with items and,
But about personal behavior, do you have a sign?
no, but we would do.
Do you need one?
Yeah, do
Should
you
you
really
need
need one? I mean,
Well, clearly,
adults.
if there's difficulty, maybe you need one. You know, I don't know if it was
Person
just.
that's doing
yeah,
harassment.
we are
will
not
take
talking
time
about
to
customers
explain.
who
the sign.
aren't aware. We're talking about
Nothing
somebody who
applies to
probably
them.
volunteered for over a decade. And, you know, people
And
who are,
was the chairman, was the boss.
Oh, this is the person you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Never mind.
And was voted off the committee and voted off the treasure chest completely. And now she wants to come back and,
No, this is a different person.
That's the other person.
So it sounds
This
like
is she
these
and a he.
But I mean,
You're
both of the
right.
individuals we're
So how
talking
does the
about
committee wanna
were
vote?
once, were volunteers at one point.
And
So
what,
they're harboring anger.
right.
Yes.
There's-
Absolutely.
there's a-
Absolutely.
There's a
Jealousy,
grudge.
whatever it is.
There's a grudge, and,
But
you know.
why should we be accommodating that and allowing them to further intimidate volunteers? That's just
what-
not acceptable.
what
I mean,
is-
you're a volunteer who's given up your time to further the mission, the charge. Being intimidated or harassed should not be something that is, you know, part of that volunteer experience.
It's interesting that they decide to keep coming back, because somehow they're trying to somehow almost like rub the salt, you know, because they still can't
Yeah.
control themselves, and they're still trying to sort of like, you know, show
Okay.
you.
So our committee has to come up with an action plan.
Yeah.
And we can't, obviously,
So I'll
it's not
tell you
gonna
what,
be done
cr-
right now.
why
because we
don't,
have-
why don't you draft one, we'll come back, and we'll put it, this will be an old business item.
Okay.
And we'll continue to work on a draft of what we do when that situation arises.
Okay.
But it has no place at the treasure chest. We should not be doing anything to accommodate it, facilitate it,
Thank
or in
you,
any way
Eric.
make it the norm.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
what I do now is, if I haven't seen her since I've been back, is I just go. I go in the other room, I
There are
go.
places, yeah.
I
Well,
go,
that's what happened with him too. Somebody else went in the other room and he got into a rage because that person went in a room. Why isn't that person helping me?
Yeah.
And, sir, just for the, for the,
Public session, you have a public
Do you need,
inquiry?
yes, we have open session.
yeah, we have an open session.
It's not yet, sorry. We'll get there.
But no, they can do it, I think it's written, anytime you want to do one, I can put it in.
Do you want to speak?
Do,
Tax, may I make a comment?
Sure.
Certainly. You just gotta let me know who you are for the record.
Oh, God, it's gonna go to 40. What's he mad about? What's he mad about?
My name's Dave Nixon from East Harwich. I just happened to be listening to your conversation. And the one question I have for the entire board is, what are you waiting for? You should take action before something else happens
Thank you.
that could be possibly more serious.
Absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
no, we're all volunteers.
You gonna wait a month to?
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
So you agree with us that this type of
Unacceptable.
unacceptable?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Put that in our notes and,
Yeah.
do people,
I have one other item, and I don't know if we can squeeze it in.
Um,
Gonna end early today.
Or would you want to keep going on this one?
No, 'cause, yeah, if it's not on our agenda item. I don't want to be putting it on it
Okay.
because folks didn't have a chance to see it and
So we can
In-
save it for the next.
save
yeah.
it for the next one.
Okay.
So with that, we're gonna put some draft language, but yeah, it should be, this absolutely cannot be tolerated.
Yeah.
And really, it's been going on for some time.
So what does this mean in reality?
Well, in reality, it means if it
Are we
continues.
waiting till the
No.
next meeting?
We had one girl, remember the girl that came to the treasure chest? She used to come all the time with her kids. And she came and stole all our trash barrels. And she took off and we're screaming, come back with our barrels. And so the cops were called and they
Yeah.
went and found her. She had to return the barrels and she was banned immediately.
Yeah,
By the
whoever
committee.
was in charge then.
Whoever was in charge at the time, when the cops were sent, they told her she could not come back. And we
So-
haven't seen her since. So don't tell me it takes a long time. It can be done immediately.
But no, I honestly think if folks are being intimidated and harassed, then there's gotta be something that we can do. And we'll
It's
put
just
some
escalating.
immediacy to it, and we're just gonna make that a priority. So we'll put that on our next meeting, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, that just cannot happen.
Is there always someone in charge? I mean, usually you're there when I'm there. Is there
And
always someone in
there's
charge?
always somebody in charge and a shift supervisor.
Okay,
So-
so I think if something happens that is untoward, that person should go to the person in charge, and the person in charge should expel the person.
Well, it actually says if there's something going on in our guidelines right now, bring it up to a shift supervisor, raise it to that level.
Yes, and then the person should be,
So maybe that's what it is.
Right.
Maybe our procedure is bring it to the shift supervisor or the person in charge who's there, bring it to their attention,
Right.
and give that person the authority to have that person removed from the treasure,
yep.
but we'll work on that.
Yeah, do one of these?
I'll take that. Okay,
Respect the-
next meeting date? When do you want, guys,
Any
when do you
idea
want to
when-
meet next?
Would you like to meet next?
Whenever you say.
A couple months from now, earlier? We can still work on this language and get this done,
Does that mean we can't ban
I
them until?
I don't think this is something really even that we have to have the committee vote on. It just needs to be,
Link said the committee has to vote on,
okay, so
Yeah.
if we have to vote on it before we bring it to the selectmen's attention,
oh, no, this won't go before the selectmen.
the procedure we're gonna use to remove somebody from the treasure chest, all we have to do is vote on the procedure?
Yep,
Okay.
What's the procedure?
Then make sure that we have a
So what's the
procedure ready for our next meeting.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, so it's not now.
yeah.
do you wanna meet in June?
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, that sounds
Does
good.
that mean
you have to wait
that
until
you
then.
can't expel them before June?
you know, that's what my question is
We
now.
can call in any help we need on site, if, we can help, we can get help.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is what, May, June, okay.
We
Last
have to
week,
leave.
the last week of June, 26, 27, 28, 29,
Well, what's that Thursday?
Thursday the 29th.
Thursday, the 29th, June 29th,
Sure.
5 o'clock?
Okay,
Small room, you'll sign it out?
Rini is doing that for me.
So, June 29th,
Okay, what's that?
small
I'm
room.
gonna put it right in there, look
What
at you.
is that?
That's not the 23rd.
No, that's, no.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn?
So, do I have a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
There.
Aye. Awesome.